Ready to go? I will call the regular session of the Blackhawk County Board of Supervisors meeting to order. Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
Leyland,
Here.
Little,
Here.
Wertz,
Here.
White,
Here.
Jelka.
Here. We will now have a moment of silence to reflect on our actions. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll entertain a motion to receive the agenda as proposed or amended.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed say no. We have an agenda. Public comments. Do we have anybody in the boardroom that would like to provide public comment? Do we have anyone on Zoom or on the phone that would like to provide public comment? Item number 3 is claims and payments. I will make a motion that the Board of Supervisors approve expenditures and that the county auditor be authorized and directed to issue checks against the various settlement of claims as allowed. We have a motion and a second by Mr. Little. Mr. Perry?
This week's expenditures total $1,242,613.13. Even on a short week, that seems a lot, but a lot of that is just because of the Grundy Road project, $1,111,023.68. The other departments that were a little bit larger were IT department, $24,752, and finally Health Department, $12,247. Everything looked normal.
Any comments or questions? Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Jelka.
Yes. Item number 4 is project updates from department heads or elected officials. Kathy?
Good morning, Board. Kathy Nicholas, County Engineer.
Morning.
Just an update on the Grundy Road project. PCI is down to punch list items, so just very minor cleanup items they're looking at. They're hoping to be done by tomorrow or Thursday with most of the job. Of course, we will winter over because they're erosion control, silt fences, that type of thing that have to stay up throughout the winter. And as James said, we were withholding money for several weeks while PCI submitted the required documentation paperwork necessary for our project. They did get that submitted, so we were able to pay them a good portion of the project funds. And then our other personnel are out grading, working on driveways. Box culverts are being cleaned out this week, large box culverts. And then our inside staff is working on bridge inspections that are required by federal highways, and then working on future design projects for future years. Can I answer any questions at this time? Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any other department heads or elected officials in the boardroom that would like to provide an update? Any on Zoom or on the phone?
Morning, Board. This is Yolando, Blackhawk County Veterans Affairs. I just wanted to give you a quick update. Yesterday, we had Congresswoman Ashley Hinson stop by, her and her staff, stop by our office, and we had about an hour visit. We went over what we do here, our mission, how we support veterans, and we gave her a quick tour of our facility. She was very impressed, very attentive to what we're doing here at Blackhawk County. She has been going and visiting some of the other veteran service officers within her district, but we had a pretty good conversation, and her staff has been very supportive. They come to our commission meetings, things of that nature, so it's great to see that partnership established. Also yesterday, Mercy One gave us a large donation. Again, in the season of giving, they are looking more at what they can do to interact with veterans. So here's another partnership that we are establishing, and we are appreciative of all the new partnerships that we're establishing that supports our veteran mission and what we're doing for veterans. Over the Thanksgiving holiday, and I hope everyone had one, We were able to provide 31 Thanksgiving meals to veterans and veterans' families. The largest family size was 8 in that standpoint. And in those Thanksgiving baskets, we provided either a traditional turkey, a turkey breast, or a ham. And all of that was done through donations from the citizens here in Blackhawk County. And so it's just a great spot to be right now sitting in this seat. And then as we push forward towards the month of December, we have 17 widows that we're doing a gift basket for. And what we're going to do this year is just do gift cards based off of the donations that we've received. And we've received a tremendous amount of donations throughout the month of November. And we're probably going to get a significant amount in the month of December as we get closer to the holidays. And all of those donations will go towards veterans and veterans' families and the nursing homes. We have about 100 nursing home bags that we're going to distribute before Christmas. And we have 4 nursing homes that are picked out and designated that we're going to be doing for. And again, all of that is through donations and all supported. And then the last thing is we have 44 veterans that are participating in the Operation Christmas program, where we had kind citizens sponsor those veterans. The veterans sent them their wish list, and then the sponsor will provide that wish list back to the veteran. And all of that's due back by the 17th of December. So we are doing what we can to support our veterans during the holidays. If you are aware of any veteran that is in need, please send them to our office, because we have more than enough. And we're here to share during the holiday season. Other than that, we're still doing what we can. We have our commission meeting tomorrow, and our numbers still look pretty decent. And I think I'm on my 6th funeral for this month. We have one today at 11:30, and I do appreciate the board of supervisors and the commission giving me an opportunity to be part of the honor guard, because it really does change your spirit and reflection about what you're doing as a veteran, and then what you can do more going towards helping the families and the widows and that stuff. Other than that, just standing by. We had a real good month for November, but standing by to address any questions.
Thank you, Yolando.
Thank you.
Do we have any others that would like to provide an update? Any others on Zoom? Item number 5, I will make a motion to approve the minutes from November 23rd, 2021.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say no. Consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Belka.
Yes. Item number 7, update from Mr. Delagardelle. I don't see Ben. On.
Back to work.
Yeah, probably. Okay, I will contact Ben, and we will make sure he provides a future update in the near future. Item number 8, contracts and agreements. A, resolution that the lowest responsible bid received from Aspro Incorporated, Waterloo, Iowa, letting held November 16th, 2021 at 10 a.m. for project FM-C007, in parentheses, 162-55-07, for HMA pavement widening and resurfacing on Canfield Road, V51 from Dubuque Road, D22 north 2 miles to Independence Avenue, D20, and project STBG-SWAP-C007 in parentheses 165, -FG07, for HMA resurfacing cold-in-place recycling on D46 Eagle Road from V37 Dysart Road east to Highway 218 with a total bid amount of $2,716,332.31. Engineer's estimate of $2,431,885.68. Be awarded as recommended by Catherine Nicholas, County Engineer. Kathy?
Yeah, good morning. Both of these roads were up for resurfacing, and we put the plans together. The DOT did let this. You can see that we are about $285,000 over the engineer's estimate. Many agencies are reporting right now that asphalt prices have increased substantially, about 30% over last year's prices. So That is the condition of the market right now. And vendors are reflecting that in their bids. I would recommend that you award it to Aspro. We, of course, have a long relationship with them, and they do good quality work, so I would recommend that you award this to Aspro as the low bidder.
When's this work gonna be completed?
The late start, I believe, is in May, so they would probably by the end of July. I'm not
Okay, but the
entirely sure.
start date's the end of May?
I'm sorry, the late start date is August 1st, excuse me, on this project, August 1st.
Okay.
So I think there's a 50-day working contract, so by the end, 55-day working contract, so possibly by the end of September or mid-October, the work would be finished.
I think it's good to get these jobs bid like you're doing right now this early. Because obviously when you bid later in the spring, they're pretty well booked up. So I think this is good to do it this way.
Any other comments or questions?
Move to approve?
Second.
Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Jelka.
Yes. Item 8B is a resolution that the lowest responsible bid received from Jim Schrader Construction Company, or Incorporated, Bellevue, Iowa, letting held November 16th, 2021 at 10 a.m. for project LFM-166 long-7X-07 for bridge replacement on Cedar Wapsie Avenue over a tributary to Crane Creek, S17T90.
Second.
NR12 with a total bid of $793,329. Looks like we have a typo, so it's going to be $793,339.06. The engineer's estimate of $803,054.90 be awarded as recommended by Catherine Nichols, County Engineer. We have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments? Kathy?
Yeah, this structure is about 2 miles east of Highway 63 on Cedar Wapsie Road. A deteriorating timber pile is its primary mode of failure. It's time to replace it. The DOT did let this for us as well. We received good bids, and fortunately, we're not seeing quite as high as increases in concrete and steel right now as we were anticipating, but it is under our engineer's estimate, so I would recommend that you do award it to Jim Schroeder. They have completed numerous bridges for us in the past and do good quality work.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any more comments or questions? Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
White,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka.
Yes. Item 9A is a resolution that the rate increase in the amount of 1% as submitted by the Waterloo Waterworks effective January 1st, 2022 in accordance with 11.2 of the 2080 agreement with the Waterloo Waterworks regarding the Washburn water system be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions?
For the record, the Board of Supervisors doesn't have anything to do with this. This is all the City of Waterloo Waterworks.
Anybody know when the last time there was a rate increase for the Washburn water system?
Probably last year.
Yeah.
All right.
Every year.
Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Jelka.
Yes. Item 9B is a motion to direct the county auditor to advertise for a public hearing to be held at 9:07 a.m. on Tuesday, December 14th, 2021 in the Boardroom 201 of the Blackhawk County Courthouse, 316 East 5th Street, Waterloo, Iowa, on the proposed ordinance number 77-261
Move.
Second.
from a request submitted by Stephen Gearhart at 6335 LaPorte Road to rezone .69 acres from CM Agricultural District to A Agricultural District in order to change the use of a 50-foot by 170-foot, 8,500 square feet building from a commercial use to an agricultural use. It's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say no. Item 9C is a resolution that the taxes on submitted properties which have come into public ownership through community development efforts, public infrastructure improvement of public purpose acquisition, be abated and to instruct the county treasurer to adjust her records accordingly pursuant to subsection 427.2 and subsection 445.63 of the Code of Iowa in the total amount of $6,710.76. It's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Jelka.
Yes. Item 9D is a resolution to approve the amendment to the list of financial institutions to be depositories of the Blackhawk County funds effective December 3rd, 2021, in conformance with all applicable provisions of subsection 12B and subsection 12C of the Code of Iowa in amounts not to exceed the maximum deposits approved for each respective financial institution as submitted.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Jelka.
Yes. Item 9E is a resolution to designate the submitted named financial institutions as 2021 depositories of Blackhawk County funds in conformance with all applicable provisions of subsection 12B and subsection 12C of the Iowa Code in amounts not to exceed the maximum approved for each respective financial institution as submitted effective December 3rd, 2021.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
White,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka.
Yes. Item 9F is a motion that the holiday schedule for Blackhawk County offices for 2022 be approved as follows. New Year's Day, December 31st, 2021. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, January 17th, 2022. Units 1, 4, 6, 8, and non-bargaining. President's Day, February 21st, 2022, Unit 5 only. Good Friday, April 15th, 2022, Unit 7 only. Memorial Day, May 30th, 2022, Independence Day, July 4th, 2022, Labor Day, September 5th, 2022, Veterans Day, November 11th, 2022, excludes Unit 7. Thanksgiving Day, November 24th, 2022. Day after Thanksgiving, November 25th, 2022. Christmas Observance, December 26th, 2022. And Floating Christmas Holiday, December 27th, 2022. It's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed say no. Item 9G is a motion that the travel request submitted by Amanda Fessenmeyer, Human Resources Director, be approved and direct the chair to sign for same. $77.30 to attend the Iowa Public Employer Labor Relations Association
Second.
Winter Conference in Mason City, Iowa, scheduled for December 3rd, 2021. It's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say no. Enjoy your wonderful stay in Mason City, Amanda. Item 9H is a resolution that the request for purchase of capital equipment submitted by Catherine Nicholas, County Engineer, be approved and direct the chair to sign for same. To purchase 1 concrete beam breaker and 4 concrete molds in the amount of $4,294, 0 cents, from Humboldt Manufacturing, Elgin, Illinois.
So moved.
Second. Kathy?
Yes, we did budget $4,500 in our FY22 budget. We did check around and we liked the product that Humboldt Manufacturing offered for less than the budgeted amount. Our current beam breaker is approximately 25 to 30 years old, so it is aging, and we took a look at that piece of equipment and realized it was getting towards the end of its life. And in looking at modern concrete beam breakers, the real advantage is that now smaller beams can be used, which would be a big advantage to our technicians who have to carry these beams around, make the beams, and carry them around. The current beams are approximately 80 pounds with the mold and the concrete, and the newer beams are much smaller, and they weigh approximately 20 to 22 pounds with the new mold and the concrete. So we would like to move ahead and purchase a new beam breaker and the molds, and be allowed to make the smaller molds.
So what are we going to, go ahead, sorry, I thought you were done.
I was going to say the primary use of this machine is when we are our bridge crew or a contract vendor, a contract bridge builder is having a pour that day, a concrete pour. We make 2 beams as required by standards. We make 2 beams, and then we break those beams at a designated time after the pour. That way we know the concrete is strong enough to remove the formwork. So we're checking ourselves, and we're checking the contractor. Checking ourselves when we do the building our own bridges, and the contractor when they are building bridges for us. We are doing an independent check on their work then to release their forms and continue with the construction process. Can I answer questions?
Where are we going to take the funds from?
So this is from a budgeted item from FY22 budget.
And what are we doing with the old ones?
The old beam breaker, I guess we hadn't thought about that. We could probably sell that. Maybe there's another government agency who also needs to use this.
All right, any other comments or questions? Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
White,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Belka.
Yes. Item 9I is a resolution that the request for purchase of capital equipment submitted by Catherine Nicholas, County Engineer, be approved and direct the chair to sign for same to purchase 3 custom CAD computers in the amount of $14,010.99 from XI Computer Corporation, San Clemente, California.
So moved.
Second. Kathy?
So this is another capital item that was budgeted in our FY22 budget, and we did budget $13,500 for 3 new CAD computers, and this is we are replacing these as part of our routine replacement of our CAD computers. We would take the extra funds from our unspent capital items that have been our budgeted capital items where we have unspent money, and I've told you before we are very much want to keep on top of the replacement of our CAD computers because we use them every day. That's how we put our plan sets together. So they are used extensively, and we need properly functioning CAD computers.
How many CAD computers do we have?
We have 7 CAD computers.
And we're replacing 3. When's the last time we replaced them? Last year?
I believe that we replaced 3 of them last year.
What do we do with the old ones?
So the old ones, there are some of us in the office who do not have CAD computers. We take them out to Longfellow. So we do reuse them.
So the ones you reuse, we gain more CAD computers, and then you're going to replace them again. So we keep adding more.
So we're only replacing yes, eventually we want to replace all of the computers in the office, but when, for example, I have a CAD computer, it may not necessarily have to be replaced with a CAD computer. I believe we have 15 CAD computers in the office, so not all of them would be being replaced with a CAD computer.
But the 3 you're going to replace with the 3 new ones, you're going to send them out to another office. Will we be replacing them down the road?
Eventually, yes. That-
So we keep increasing them, don't we, then, if we don't
Well-
get rid of them, we're increasing each year?
We, for example, my computer, we could just replace with a more standard office computer.
Yeah, I was talking about CAD.
Right, the CAD computers, those always need to be replaced as a CAD computer.
And it's the 7 you're talking about that always need to be replaced.
Yes, as a
At some
CAD
point,
computer.
everybody's gonna have one, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, they last maybe 3 to 5 years.
But the way you were explaining it, that you're giving them, the old ones to people in the office or out at Longfellow, so.
Well, we replace them, like I said, every 3 to 4 years, 3 to 5 years for the CAD computers. So I have one now. I don't know if the plan is, I can't remember where we are with my computer being replaced, but it probably wouldn't be replaced with a CAD computer. There-
So we got 7 CAD computers right now, is that correct?
I believe so,
And you're going to replace 3 of them with 3 new ones, correct?
yes.
Will we end up with 10 CAD computers or 7?
Probably 10 or 9 or 10, yes. We would have 9 or 10. 2 of them might go out to Longfellow.
Are they using the CAD feature?
No, they're
That's
just
what I'm
being
thinking.
used as
You're
an
just
office
using them
computer.
as you retire the most
Right.
current, so you have the newest ones that you're using.
Right, we are reusing our CAD computers as an office computer.
So how many people in the office use them on a daily basis that they need, or how often are they used?
There would be 6 technicians and we have a spare in the break room to, so we can sit in there and use it as a CAD computer collectively as a group.
It's the CAD function we're really going for. and
Right,
what's
that's
needed, and
what-
That's what we need to keep current with.
That's what we have
So
to
you're,
keep.
so you're saying the computers can be used for a regular computer when the CAD portion isn't quite updated or functional, is that correct?
Correct, yes.
And you're sending those to our outlining garages?
Yes, our maintenance supervisor, superintendent have one, I have one. I don't use CAD on it. We just use the Office, the
Just-
Microsoft products.
Yeah, just use them as a regular computer then.
Right.
But they won't be replaced as a CAD in the future, is what you're saying?
Correct, only the CAD computers.
Okay.
All right, any other comments or questions? Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes. Item 9J is a resolution to set hearing at such time as the law on publication permits and to publish notice thereof in accordance with Iowa Code for comment, discussion, and potential initial vote on passage of an amendment to County Ordinance 9.05.010 prohibiting use of engine brakes and compression brakes, as well as for a decision on whether to suspend requirements for additional passage at subsequent meetings as set forth under Iowa Code Section 331.302. The anticipated proposed amendment would remove the phrase "or assist" before the word "device" in subsection A of the existing ordinance. The anticipated proposed amendment would also remove the phrase "more than 80 decibels of noise when it drives by as measured at 50 feet" from the existing ordinance and replace that phrase with "loud, unusual, explosive, or otherwise disturbing noise."
So moved.
Second. Any comments or questions? Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
Little,
Oh.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White,
No.
Leyland,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes. Item 9K, discussion in regard to county preparedness and possible updates for COVID-19. Dr. Nbonye?
Good morning, Board. Nafise Bonye, Blackhawk County Public Health. We are currently still at a risk level of high. We had 194 cases since November 29th, and so we're increasing, and so people need to continue to just socially distance and frequently wash your hands, and also, most importantly, get vaccinated. That is very important. As you all might be aware, there's a new variant, the Omicron variant, which WHO, CDC, and IDPH and Blackhawk County Public Health are all monitoring the situation closely. The virus was first identified in South Africa, and large number of mutations, which may suggest an increased risk of reinfection. So there's travel restrictions as of now put in place for several South African countries, and we're waiting to hear for more further detail about the severity of the illness and the degree of its transmissibility. So our urge to the community is to get vaccinated. This is very important as we see, how things change with COVID all the time. And so right now, they're still doing testing and sequencing of the samples is ongoing, and we'll be able to determine how effective the vaccine is with this new variant. We have about 68% of our Blackhawk County residents age 12 and over that have at least one dose of COVID-19 vaccination, and 64% that are fully vaccinated. And we still are seeing a small increase in the 5 to 11-year-olds. Last week, I think I mentioned 7%. We're at 8.1% of 5 to 11 years old with at least one dose of the vaccine. So that's good news, too. Any questions for me?
I think you misstated at the beginning how many cases since yesterday on?
No, November 29th.
That was yesterday.
Is it? Yeah, so over the weekend, over the weekend. Thank you. My days are blurred with this.
Who's checking? There's 2 outbreaks in nursing homes. Who's checking these out? Are these tracers going into the nursing homes, finding out what's going on?
We do contact tracing, but in terms of the nursing home, they follow their own particular protocol because of they're in nursing homes.
I don't understand. Say that again.
So we do contact tracing, so if anybody tested positive, but given that they're in nursing home and that's where they reside, it's a different protocol that it's followed. So it's very easy to have these outbreaks in nursing home because of just how COVID is.
For those desiring to get a booster, should they contact their health care providers, or generally are the health care providers contacting patients who already had the vaccination?
So healthcare providers, we're doing both, so you can contact your healthcare provider as a patient, or the healthcare system will also call to let people know their boosters are available.
So how many booster shots did we lose this weekend in power failure?
So good news. We did not lose any. Our vaccines are good. So if you haven't heard, good news, silence is good news. So we had, that was very scary, but we did save our vaccines. So that's definitely something good.
A squirrel took out the electricity at Pinecrest for
I heard.
several hours.
Don't we have a generator out there?
Yeah, for whatever reason that didn't work. I think Rory can speak more about what happened, but in terms of vaccinations, what we do is we get it signals, it lets us know where the temperature of our vaccines, and so we were able to know that something was going on at Pinecrest. Yeah.
So how many hours did it take, Rory, to find out that the computer that it was down out there? Sorry.
Hello, Rory Giving, Maintenance Superintendent. We had actually received a phone call from an employee from the health department that she was not able to get into the facility over there. And so we looked into that further and discovered that the whole facility was completely out of power. Contacted Mid-American, they came out. We lost line power to the building, but it was pretty unique chain of events that took place because we also, the generator was running, but we had a problem with our automatic transfer switch, so it didn't automatically transfer to that generator. And that's what we had reviewed yesterday. I sent out I think a note to you folks letting you know that we did find some substantial damage on the automatic transfer. And that we are looking into with the manufacturer. But yeah, it was a pretty unique chain of events that took place on Saturday. Typically, that generator would automatically switch and go without a hitch. But in this particular case, that wasn't it.
What was the damage caused by that? The squirrel?
We actually don't know. We don't know if it's a surge that caused it. We don't know if it's just a part failure within the automatic transfer switch. We even are looking at the possibility of a rodent that got in there, and looks like some of the wiring was a little bit chewed up, but it was very hard to tell because it is very charred. And so until the manufacturer, we can get this part off of the automatic transfer switch and the manufacturer can take a hard look at it, we really won't know exactly what caused it.
Mr. Little?
Is that the generator from the jail?
No, this is, I believe this generator was put in brand new in 2000, I want to say 2018.
When was the last time this generator was ran on preventive maintenance?
It runs every Wednesday.
So it worked last Wednesday, but it didn't work over the weekend?
Yep, we test all of our generators weekly, and this particular one goes off on Wednesday mornings.
And it worked Wednesday, but not the weekend?
Right.
But it was probably due to a power surge.
We're kind of speculating, just given the nature of what had happened with the varmint on the utility line. It's not unrealistic to think it could have been a power surge that took this out. The timing would kind of go in line, but I can't say with all certainty that's what caused it.
Well, Rory, when you talk power surge, you're talking about the regular power going to the building, correct?
Correct. Our line voltage coming into the building.
You're not talking about a power surge on the generator.
No.
Just something on the generator failed.
Right, and again, we can't say for certain what actually knocked out the automatic transfer switch, but with the fact that we did have a power outage, the line voltage was taken off of that facility. We can't rule that out as a possibility, but it could be a number of things. We do test it weekly so that transfer switch does get exercised on a regular basis. It could be a part failure. We just don't know yet until we can get in there. Last night was the first time we were able to take that cabinet completely apart. We shut power off to Pinecrest at 5 o'clock, took the cabinet apart and really got a closer look of what the damage was. And now at this point, it's in the manufacturer's hands to give us advice moving forward.
So we're down right now with the generator right now?
Right now, we are just on normal power. We have no emergency backup at Pinecrest. I had locked that unit out.
Okay, but it did run last Wednesday, is what you're saying?
It ran every Wednesday. At 6:30, I believe it starts, and it runs for about 45 minutes.
45 minutes, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, thanks for the text. You sent several, like keeping us apprised. So
Yeah, I wish I had more information. I'm just telling you what I know at that moment in time. So, and primarily it's because, you guys will get feedback from folks, so it's good to have that heads up.
Yeah.
So we'll continue doing that.
Is there any concern with the other generators in the courthouse, mainly the jail?
No, they get tested weekly as well. It's, again, you've got a lot of moving parts with these units, so it's really hard to say at this point.
Thanks, Rory.
Yep.
Thank you, Ray.
Any other comments, questions, concerns in regard to county preparedness and possible updates? Yes,
Can I
ma'am.
just add to that? I think at some point we would need to discuss a plan B when situations do arise like this, especially in regards to our vaccines, because that has to maintain its certain temperature. And so staff were trying to figure out what to do with the vaccines and how to shift them. And so I think that's something that as we look into space issues, where to shift those vaccines, immediately when there's a situation like this that arises.
Do you currently have any idea or vision in regard to a contingency plan, such as acquiring a refrigeration truck or whatever?
Yeah, so we're looking at those things. I just think those are things that we might bring forward, because that was definitely something that we have to look at, where to shift vaccines immediately. I mean, most of the time we can work collaboratively with the healthcare systems, as we've done, to source some of our vaccine. But when it's in the evening like this on a holiday, we have to have a plan to where to store them.
I think that's a good point, Nafisa, but it's kind of disappointing at the same time we spend the money for a plan B, which is a generator, and it fails.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes people have backup generators for backup generators.
You don't let me know where them are at.
For that reason, there are.
Rory?
This is Rory
That wouldn't
Giving
work
again. Yeah, I do think this is a pretty rare occurrence. I mean, we've had generator over at the jail since the construction of the jail. Just haven't seen this issue. Again, I do think this is a pretty unique situation. I still have confidence in the generator once we do get, this automatic transfer switch figured out. But I do want to make a correction. As I went back to my closet, I got to thinking, I believe the test is every 2 weeks, not every week. I believe we did switch that to every 2 weeks just to minimize the wear and tear on the moving parts on this automatic transfer switch. So I think I misspoke when I said every week. I believe the jail is every week, and I believe the courthouse is every week, but I believe Pinecrest is every 2 weeks. But regardless, it does get tested at least monthly. So,
Thank you, Rory.
thank you.
Thanks for the other.
Thanks.
Item 9L is discussion and possible board action in regard to consideration of all aspects of the American Rescue Plan funding.
I have one other update on COVID preparedness.
Yes,
Can I just
sorry.
mention that quick? Yep, so Amanda, Blackhawk County Human Resources Director. So another day and another turn of events for vaccine mandates. So just wanted to make you all aware that as expected when I spoke to you guys a couple weeks ago regarding the federal block for the OSHA ETS vaccine mandate, we anticipated that this possibly could happen with the CMS interim final rule, which did not allow a test out option for healthcare workers. It required vaccines by December 6th. It was announced yesterday that there is a federal judge that blocked that in the Eastern District of Missouri, I believe. Mike, you can kind of speak to that a little bit, but
It's been blocked for the state of Iowa. That's
Right.
what we need to understand here.
yep. So Iowa is one of 10 states that this has been blocked for, so I wanted to give you guys that heads up, and based on the advice and recommendation of our legal counsel, we're going to hold off on moving forward with that guidance and compliance specific to our health department.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item 9L, ARP funding. James?
Yes, on the screen you'll see, and Nafisa, you can stand up and kind of discuss on the details. It was asked that these ARP funds get kind of split off in a more detailed manner, and so they are on the screen currently, and then kind of yielding any questions and kind of go from there. So. With that being said, Nafisa, I'll let you kind of go over the detail of these.
So these are no different from last week items. The one item that we did take out because of the technology grant was the videography. That was I think we had estimated about $8,000. So we took those items out. But these are the same items that we presented. And then what I did was also work with Bridget to include the vehicles per Supervisor Little's feedback. So these really, there's more, we removed the items that were eligible, and we did get confirmation from the state that such as the communication technology related items would be allowable. And so we went ahead and removed that. So again, constantly monitoring what public health is getting and where those eligible expenses fall, and then what qualifies under the ARP that doesn't qualify under any other funding sources that we're receiving. I do want to say I'm very proud also of the environmental health team. One of the reasons why we've limited some of these items is because about 2 weeks ago, also the environmental health team received $20,000 to be able to pay for their own technology, such as computers and the software they needed. So that's going to offset property tax dollars as well. So very proud. The team is being proactive, but these are items really at this moment that would fall under phase 1. So if you have any questions for me, please let me know.
Well, the dental equipment, isn't that going to go into that van that you're wishing for?
The dental equipment, no, those are the things that it would be used as a item, but those are the things that we currently need right now for dental screening and sealant. Yeah.
Any other comments or questions?
You mentioned in here, I think the office chairs and the sit-to-stands
Yeah.
and the uniforms and those types of things. I didn't see any numbers as far as what you were looking at for replacing all the office chairs, or were there?
No. Some of the office chairs, we were able to replace them through a grant. So it's not all of the office chairs for the health department. And Bridget, I think if you're there, can you share the number for the office chairs and sit-to-stand?
So we were budgeting originally for 54, 55 chairs. 11 of those have been replaced through grant funding.
Yeah.
Well, 6 of them were under grant funding. Other ones came out of other parts of our department's budget. And then the sit-to-stands, we were budgeting for, I think, 12.
12 chairs?
No, sit-to-stands.
Yeah.
They're the things that sit on the desk that read your
How many
monitors
chairs?
Chairs, we were originally budgeting for 55. We've already replaced 11 of them, so it'll be 44.
And that's all the desk office, like the desk sets, that type of chairs?
Yes, the office. Yeah.
How many uniforms?
So the uniform, we're budgeting, that one would be for everybody. And, one of the feedback that we received was that to make sure that was in an ongoing cost. So when we started with the vaccine outreach in the community, that was one of the things that we saw that the healthcare systems were doing, and we were able to apply for a grant. Community Foundation supported us in getting that done. And so this would be a one-time item, and then it would be an ongoing personal expense for staff as if they wanted, if there's wear and tear issues. But these are not items that we would wear constantly. But I find that it's very easy for staff to be identified when doing community outreach. Environmental health, those are some of the things they've been requesting, and so it would be for the program staff. Mm-hmm.
So, and you're saying like everyone will be identified or have a shirt?
Yes.
But it's just that they will only be utilizing when they go out and out?
Yes, outreach, especially outreach, that's one of the key things, or doing public services, so inspections, going out in the rural areas as well.
And this allows for all the staff then currently working there? How about like new staff?
Are you going to buy those shoes?
I mean, we're at a point where we only have one vacancy.
But you won't be, I assume, passing on clothes to...
What's wrong with
No, definitely not. It would not be an ongoing
So
expense.
it might be something you'd have to have a recurring expense for new people as they come on board.
Right.
Or people changing sizes.
That's true. But I did tell them that this is not that moving forward, we would have to look at how we would, we've been fortunate with the foundations, but also how for them also to gain their own particular additional stuff that they wanted.
What would, uniforms, I don't understand what good a shirt with the name of the health department's gonna do you when we got badges. I think a badge is better than a uniform. I can go get a shirt and have that made and impersonate somebody that's from the health department. Real easy. Once you
So it would be the same, like maintenance has shirts, conservation has shirts. So I'm just saying that these are things that have helped us to be more visible in the community. And so that's why when we started the response, it was very evident that people needed to recognize, like, this is a health department employee that's giving me my shot. And so we got the community foundation to give us, they donated, I mean, even these that we're wearing, that was from the community foundation.
what's it say on it?
It says Blackhawk County Public Health.
There you go, right there. That identifies you.
Well, as you said, the badges do too, but yeah,
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
yeah.
I know the badges do too, but you're just looking at something, I think, more even easier visible.
Right.
We all see.
No.
All right, any other comments or questions?
I have a problem with the vehicles. After going out there and looking at them, like I've said time after time, them vehicles are not being taken care of. And it really disappoints me that our employees don't have any responsibility whatsoever. The health department employees have no responsibility for taking care of these cars. They should act like that's their car, that they should be taking better care of it. The one that I've boiled before, it's been filthy. There's been milkshakes filled in the seat, not cleaned up. It's a crying shame that there's cars out there that got 60,000 miles on it and are rusted out at the bottom. That's from poor maintenance, not taking care of a vehicle, plain and simple.
And those vehicles are all stored outside and, correct, I mean, as far as their, no?
I've had a car for years before that was
No.
stored outside.
No, I just
It's
meant they're
because
year-round.
they set with the snow and the salt on them. They don't take them to a car wash at all. I bet you 90% of them have never seen a car wash.
Do you have any type of maintenance agreements, or how do you do
Yes.
the maintenance schedule, I guess I should?
Bridget, can you speak on that? But before that, I do have to say that the team goes above and beyond in doing what's best for the department, whether it's their vehicles, whether it's any equipment. They go above and beyond in ensuring that things are taken care of. I mean, and in addition to the pandemic, so it's very hard for me to stand and hear, because I know behind the scenes that they are going above and beyond to making sure. Bridget, can you talk about our car wash and maintenance? And one of the things, and just to clarify, we're also making sure that we are responsibly using our property tax dollars or any funding that we get. So whether it's looking at rotation, how to do things so that it doesn't become costly to the county, that's something that we're proactive in doing. Bridget?
So we've got an account set up for our employees to take their cars to go to a car wash, and they are able to do that whenever they're out in their vehicles. We also have interior cleaning supplies for any of the employees if they spilled something in their car, for them to take responsibility and clean them. And I believe the car washes also include an interior vacuum at the same time.
So no one's limited on that, Bridget? I mean, as far as anyone that's using the vehicle can go have it washed, or would have it washed maybe when they've returned it, or I don't know how that works for.
You fill them back up with gas when you bring them back.
Is that, and that's typically
Yes.
what's done,
Yes.
correct? And I'm assuming when there's any difficulty or problems with the vehicle, Bridget, can you answer, I guess, or whoever, how that's handled? Like you said, if sometimes we have vehicles that are with problems?
So anytime that there's any issues that come up with a vehicle, we take it to the Waterloo City Garage to do regular maintenance on, whether that be oil changes, tires. If, say, something's going on with, like a check engine light came on or whatever, we would take it to the garage to be serviced.
How often are those vehicles maintained, I guess, as far as oil changes and that type of thing?
As far as I'm aware, it's every 3 months, just like a regular
Okay,
oil change would be.
okay, thank you.
So, and all 19 of your cars are driven every day, right? On a regular basis?
All except for one of them is issued out to employees. The only one that's not issued to an employee is the Flex, and that's to leave it available for the Board of Supervisors to use at any time. Otherwise, they are driven at least, if not daily, it is weekly that they are done. Not every outreach has things going on every single day.
All right, additional comments and questions?
Yeah, what's the total amount requested today, dollar amount for approval?
Let me scroll down here quick for you, Tom.
282.
800.
That's the amount that the board would be approving today?
Correct.
If we did all of the phase 1 items and the 4 vehicles.
Correct.
I'm talking about the total amount that's requested today that wants to be approved. Is it 200 and some thousand?
Yep.
Yes.
And then the only other thing I'd add to Visa,
Yeah.
in the past, we bought health cars. Rory has put 3 of them up for auction. I suggested we replace 3 or 4 cars that they go back to Rory so he can put them on the auction site when we auction them off like we did last time.
Okay. Is that what I know we've
can.
traded vehicles too, right?
I want to say the last 2 vehicles that we had, there was a trade on
It
them.
was a trade. Okay.
But prior to that, probably an auction.
Okay.
I did have
We had 3 of the small Chevys. I forgot what they were. We put them on the auction block. We actually got more than what we did for trading.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I know you had a fleet of much larger than this. Did you select, or how you selected these 4?
Right.
What
It was
was
based on the priorities that you all had recommended, looking at the vehicle and then the programmatic needs. So that's what we did.
You mentioned too having a truck with an extended or a crew cab. I'm assuming that's because you have certain situations where you'd like to have a crew out there, not just
Yes.
everybody following cars.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I will.
Yes, Mr. White.
Sorry, one more thing.
Yes.
TJ with the assessors department, he said that he would be interested in at least looking at these vehicles before we got rid of them, in case he would be interested in potentially
Rotating his stuff.
rotating his as well. So that's something that's on the table as well.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to make a motion that we utilize $282,800 from the American Rescue Plan funding to fund Phase 1 public health items.
Second?
Comments or questions? Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Jelka.
Yes.
With a side note, I will be watching those cars, see how they're taken care of.
I think it,
Yes, Mr. Little.
I said to the board last week, the board come up with some criteria on rotating all the vehicles that we actually budget for, whether it be in any department. So we don't have to sit here and go through this all the time, whether we should be replaced them or not.
Well, maybe we should. Maybe it's a good idea when we look at these as closely as we do, though, Tom, and get this much information. Then it gives us the time to discuss whether or not we want to, continue with the criteria we have or change it, so.
Well, 8 years
is
ago,
good.
when we did that one, where Tom got the cars for the assessor's office, some of them cars had 50, cars only had like 50,000 miles on it. There ain't no way we should be trading cars in with 50,000 miles.
No, but that's what I mean, us looking at
Taxpayers
it
go,
closer is good.
should have went right through the roof then.
Because it seems like each department has, if not a formalized process, an informal process.
They should have, yeah.
Yeah.
Common sense.
But there's nothing
Taking care of
countywide. I don't know
ours.
if it would be possible countywide because there's such a variation in some of our departments as to usage.
Well, the staff is different now, but as we said, I think people put them in a rotation and just rotated the vehicles out thinking that's the way they were supposed to do it and not looking at how much mileage and how many problems they were having, so.
And I think
We
she's
just
going to
need
have
to
a
be
hard time finding a cargo van for $45,000 at this time.
Should be looking at state bid also on these cars.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Item 10 or 9M is discussion in regard to update on space needs assessment provided by Envision Architecture. Yes, sir.
Hello, greetings, everybody. I am Eric Ritland, partner with Envision Architecture. To my right is Angie Nays, she's an associate and senior interior designer with Envision Architecture. We're gonna thank you for engaging with us on this process. It's exciting and it's a wonderful opportunity to take a step back and look at the needs and help prioritize what needs to be done with the next phase of funding. Angie's going to outline a schedule we have updated since the proposal we sent. I just want to remind people this is kind of a three-prong approach. We're going to look at a space needs assessment. We're going to interview departments via survey and face-to-face and touring. We're also going to do a facility assessment. So we combine the space needs with the facility assessment to come up with a master facility plan. And Angie will walk through the process we have. I think that goes through the early to mid-March to wrap this up. And happy to take any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning.
Good morning. As Eric said, my name is Angie Nace with Envision. We are kicking off the workshops for this master plan tomorrow. We'll be meeting with the department heads to just establish some guiding principles as we get ahead into some options further in this process. We always go back to those guiding principles to make sure that our options are hitting those initial guiding principles that we've talked about from day one. In a couple weeks, we will be touring all three buildings, Courthouse, Pinecrest, and Juvenile Court Services for infrastructure and field verification. So that will be just the design team, Envision, the engineering team, which is Modus Engineering, and then a couple of our facilities appointed folks, Rory and James Perry here will be a part of that process. That'll be just that team. Then come after the holidays, we will have a 3-day workshop that will meet with all the departments. We'll be interviewing all of these folks for their individual department needs, inefficiencies, things like that. And we'll follow up with our space needs assessment, as Eric said, on our workshop number 3. And then come workshop 4 and 5, which will be in February and March. That's when we'll be presenting the actual options in terms of what suggestions we have from what we've seen and the walkthroughs, as well as the interviews for inefficiencies and opportunities amongst the 3 buildings.
That's what I was most curious in, is the creation of efficiencies amongst the buildings.
Yep.
To better serve our citizens and actually cost savings by realizing efficiencies.
Right. I'm sure there will be opportunities that come out of all these interviews and these workshops that we'll be able to capitalize on and give you some suggestions. Like we said, the 4th workshop will come back. Everyone will have a chance to review them, give feedback on them, and then we'll go back to the drawing table and rework some more. And there's a possibility for a 3rd one, just depending, since we've got 3 buildings involved, there's going to be a lot of moving parts and pieces, a lot of opinions. So we are kind of holding a 3rd planning workshop if needed towards the end of March. But that's our goal, is to be wrapped up by then and help you guys determine what the best use of the dollars are here And the goal is that this would be like a 10-year plan. You may not implement all of these things from day one, but it'll give you a starting point for the first actionable items, and then you can reassess that year after year based on funding and things.
Mr. Little?
Yeah, I'd like to request that your final analysis on each stage, that you submit that information to the Board of Supervisors first, rather than the board hearing it from various departments, because actually the board's the one that hired you, so I think we should see the information first, and then you can, we can direct you to dissipate it among the various departments or whatever we have to do.
We could certainly do that. We right now have one meeting set up after each workshop to just update you guys in the same fashion so that you kind of know where we're at after each edge.
So you'll be submitting a schedule to us, or a tentative schedule for
I have one
what's
here
planned.
today
Oh,
if you would
super.
like to have a copy.
Yeah, that'd be great, but maybe electronically as well, but thank you.
We're getting a copy of the schedule, and it'll be sent out by email to those that are attending by Zoom.
And maybe in the future also, if you have any additional information or that's going to need to be put on the board agenda, make sure the board has that prior to the meeting, like a couple of days before. So we have the opportunity to review it before it actually, you give a presentation or it's on the agenda.
We can do that.
Thank you.
Thank you for working with us.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks. Any other comments or questions? Item 9N, discussion in regard to courthouse security and the parking lot.
Amanda, how soon do we want to go into the closed session, for, I mean, this isn't that important, it can wait, but,
We did notify everyone though that the regular agenda was running a little late.
Yeah.
Okay.
Available, but
Is it?
we can certainly, it's up to you guys.
Yeah,
All right.
it's not going to take very long. Why not go ahead and have it, because I'm not certain what it's about.
you don't know what it was about.
Oh, no,
Courthouse
courthouse security
security?
and parking lot. No, I'm not certain what the issue is or why
Oh.
the discussion.
A lot of issues. That's why I just soon wait.
Should we table it?
Yeah.
It's
Well-
on the agenda. We got time. Let's talk about it.
All right. All right. First off, first thing I'd like to see done, I'd like to make a suggestion that we remove the sheriff deputies from downstairs. I don't believe they're needed. I think it's when the outside employee or outside people come in here, it's a bad perception that we're putting out, as far as I'm concerned, from comments that we've received back from the public.
I think we need one by the change in state code. But I do agree we don't need to.
I've seen as many as 3 or 4 standing down there at one time. That's when somebody will come upstairs and say, why do we got all those sheriff deputies down there? And I don't know if it's because of court upstairs or what, but it's a bad situation.
Well, maybe the possibility, the reason that they were created or they exist is because of the courts. Maybe they should be moved upstairs rather than sitting down on the first floor. Would that be an idea?
Move the one upstairs? I'm not,
Deputies.
I think,
mean, the positions were created because of the need,
One-
supposedly need for the courts upstairs.
it was one incident though.
Sheriff?
Maybe removed.
First of all, you're starting to delve into an area that is codified into the sheriff's responsibility, right? Courthouse security is codified under the code as sheriff's responsibility, not the board's. So if you don't want deputies in the courthouse, that's one thing. But to question why deputies are in the courthouse is something completely different. You had 156 calls for service in the courthouse last year. 156. Everything from disorderly conducts to assaults to drugs to warrant arrests. The reason they co-locate on first floor is because 80% of your calls for service happen on the first floor. That's where the first floor court and the first floor clerk, that's where things happen. The second most often calls for service happen on third floor. So if you want to know why my deputies appear where they appear, it's because that's where the call volume occurs. We presence patrol everywhere in the county where the call volume occurs. So with your vast expertise in how to secure a courthouse, ask, and I'll let you know.
I'll send the people that come up to my office to you, Mr.
That'd be great,
Sheriff.
because that's my job. Courthouse security, not yours.
What about Friday?
When there's multiple deputies in the courthouse, they're responding to something. They're here because they are being called to a problem. Otherwise, there's only 2 here. And the reason there are 2 here is because if you remember right, 2 years ago, you had every department head and elected official and a crying assistant county attorney asking for it. I didn't tell you to put deputies in this courthouse. The staff in this courthouse asked you to do that. So if today you want to change that modicum of operation, that's your protocol. That's your prerogative. But I would rely on the expertise of people who know what they're doing and have the obligation to do it, not on the opinion of people that don't delve into this every single day. And I would rely on data, not on opinion. So if you want to know why we do something the way we do something, it's based on the efficacy of what works. It's based on call volume. It's based on where the demand is placed on the services that we encounter every single day. That's how we operate. To make an assertion that a deputy sheriff on first floor makes us look bad, I take personal offense to, because I think that's complete and utter bullshit.
Well,
quite frankly.
I disagree with you, Sheriff.
I don't care.
I talked with them on a daily basis.
My deputies in uniform do not make us look bad.
And I just ask that all parties involved in this discussion use proper public.
I don't care. I think people ask me to be transparent as an elected official. So that's what I'm going to be with you, is transparent. You want to talk about securing your courthouse? Let's talk about securing your courthouse. Right now, your courthouse is secure. You still have incidents in your courthouse every single day, every single week. When I asked for the numbers, I was blown away by the actual numbers of calls for service volume that occur in this courthouse. It's higher than some of your small municipalities in this county. That's the fact. That's the reality that you face. If you want to change what you do, and we'll react to the changes that you want to make. Yes, sir.
John, you cited the numbers. What was that for this year?
I'll provide them to you. I just requested them a couple days ago, and I will provide them to you. I think it was 156.
Okay, you said there was 156. Was that for this year, 2021?
Again, I'll provide it to you. I'm talking off the top of my head, but I will provide it to you so I don't misspeak.
Okay. I'd be curious too, seeing that when you check the numbers, see if you can get the last, say, 5 to 7 years.
Okay.
Because I'm curious to see if something's changed in the last year, because I think we implemented the deputies, about a year ago or so?
Year and a half ago, I think. Year and a half, almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, and I'm just curious to see what the calls for service, say 5 years ago, the last 5 years.
Certainly.
2021, 2020.
I think anecdotally that they probably haven't changed much. Having deputies in the courthouse may have increased certain calls, but what I'll provide you is not only the number of calls, but the types of calls that you're getting as well. Again, warrant arrests and things like that, those are pretty common. Those are going to happen regardless, because somebody shows up on the first floor to pay a ticket or whatever, they get run and they find out they have a warrant. So those are going to be pretty consistent, but somebody shows up with dope in their pocket and gets detected by a deputy who happens to be there, that's artificially inflating numbers because now you have a deputy on the scene.
Yeah,
but yeah, 5 years, I can get you 5 years of data.
I was just curious to see if they've gone up or if they've been pretty consistent and so forth.
And the types, I think, is important. So
So this will give you the rundown of every call. Yeah, the type of call that it is.
It's much like the weapons I see in security that we are not aware of until we see that list of what's
Right.
confiscated.
And Dan's correct. With the law change, if you're going to exclude weapons from the facility, you have to have an armed guard. So you have to have at least one. So that limits you a little bit in what you're able to do.
All right, we will continue these discussions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any reports or information from the board? We will move on to adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye. 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 All those opposed say no.